Hello and welcome to a new video. I've made this one a double feature since I haven't been posting much for you guys to see lately. I shot some additional footage up in Goathland at the Heartbeat Vehicle Rally weekend in early July. Goathland's known for a few things, as well as the Heartbeat series. The station was used as the Hogsmeade in the Harry Potter films. Wandering sheep around the streets. This building, which is the Aidensfield Arms in the TV show. There are the better known Scripps Funeral Services and Garage, and these are the vehicles on display. Many of these are used or were used in the show, not all as I understand, but it's a lovely collection of cars and a lovely location and very well worth the visit. As you can see, lucky me, it was just starting to rain as I started filming, but I did manage to get a few shots of what was around. Quite a nice gathering. Later on in the day, there are some stars from the Heartbeat TV show signing autographs, hence a little marquee in the background. But I didn't hang around for that one. I primarily wanted to come and see the cars. Some of which will be very familiar to Dinky restorers. There's quite a few in this lineup that I've done on the channel myself. Very nice purple Triumph Stag there. And nice, very nice black Zodiac. Austin Cambridge. Console Classic. Hillman Imp there, you don't see too many of around anymore. Odd Anglia. A particularly nice 57 Chevrolet Bel Air, which sadly lost a hubcap somewhere on the trip. Very nice. Nice console. Which has clearly had some engine modifications. These are bikes that were used in the show. Don't know whether anyone stayed in the camera over the weekend. This Cortina was excellent. Modified 8 ways to Sunday, very much in an early 70s style. Kind of thing that graced the pages of Hot Car magazine back in the day. Rover 100. This beautiful Cadillac with the rather unfortunate number plate. Wonderful car. The top was down earlier on in the day, but unfortunately it had started to rain. Volvo Amazon. And the Pininfarina styled Wolsey. Beautiful Bristol. Not quite so beautiful tractor. And a rather large assemblage of MGB GTs. I have quite a few MG fans swooning over these, I'm sure. Nice TR6. Not sure if that's a Velox or a Cresta. And here's this week's restoration. This is my first French-made Dinky. It's a Simca Chamboard. Really nice car, kind of very much 50s American styling in my view. It appealed to me. As I say, it's my first French-made Dinky. I hadn't actually even heard of this marque. The idea of getting one was suggested to me by one of my viewers. And I took a look, found one on eBay, I think, as it goes. I thought I would tackle it. I have to say that it's extraordinarily well done casting. It even seems that the material seems thicker than on the UK castings. And quite nice chrome wheels. I'll try and polish those up if I can. Clever construction on the windscreen with these 4 little legs holding it in place. And nicely slotted to the casting. As I say, extraordinarily strong and heavy casting. Very impressed with the quality of it. Mind you, much to my surprise, chrome wheels didn't come up too bad, not as nice as I would have liked, but I think they'll be okay for this particular job. Clean the casting up with nitrum on this occasion and giving it a bit of a polish. There are a few little dinks and what have you, which I'll try and smooth out and sand, but I really was impressed with the strength in this casting. Obviously pre-drilled it ready for rivets when I reassemble. Well, that's enough of admiring the casting. Put it back in the box now. Let's get on with something else. Oh, here we go. We've already got it into a nice coat of primer and a base coat of cream, which I unfortunately failed to film. What I'm currently putting on is an Intercoat Clear, because I've got quite a bit of masking to do on this one, and the Intercoat Clear does seem to help with the masking process. Makes it seem less likely to peel off in my experience. It's only a quick application. You can dry it off with a heat gun. Pretty much be putting your vinyl on and doing all your masking off within a matter of minutes. Just the usual light dusting. Nice light coats. Goes off, as I say, fairly quickly. I used to use an aerosol can for this process, but unfortunately you can't get it in this country anymore. Courtesy of the EU. There we go. Just putting this fine liner vinyl tape down first for the crisp edges of the moulding. I've speeded up the process a little bit here because it is a time-consuming thing to do, and you don't need to see every little bit of it to get the general idea. I'll put the vinyl on for the fine lines because it always tends to make a crisper line than the paper does. Quite often you get a little bit of blurring on the edges with just the paper masking tape. So I'm just poking it into the recesses here at the back of the scalpel and setting up my line for the two-tone paint job. Same thing again. I thought on this one, since you've seen me paint plenty of things, I'd focus a little bit more on this kind of masking process. And this particular two-tone car was a good one to use for example, because I have to kind of mask it 3 different times to get all the colourways correct as I wanted them. So I'm on to masking a larger part of the body now. Now, again, what I'm using for masking here isn't your traditional masking tape. This is a transfer tape that's from the signwriting industry. You can get a huge roll of it. It's not particularly expensive. It's quite low tack, and it's designed for lifting vinyl letters or wording or off of the adhesive backing, and popping them into place on your vehicle or your shop sign or your window or whatever you're doing, and then pressing down your vinyl stickers onto the surface that you want to keep them on. as I say, the beauty of it is it comes in large rolls. It's low tack, so there's much less chance of peeling off your undercoats or your primers when you're doing your two-tone paint jobs. And we're masking up now and applying the first bit of red. I think this is a straight from the bottle Tamiya red. I don't think I even thinned it on this occasion. It looked like the right sort of vibrant red that I was after for the two-tone. So as usual, popping it on in nice light coats. I'm spraying at 40 psi using my Iwata paint brush with a 0.3 needle and nozzle setup. That's the first coat done. I should get some interlude music to play while we're seeing a nice picture here of nothing in particular. Masked off the red, and now we're doing the inserts at the back of the car. As I say, not many good coverage out of this Tamiya paint. Not much needed to be done. Very nice light coats. And we're on to peeling the paint off. Well, actually, preferably not peeling the paint off. There we go. That's come out pretty well. What I'm about to do is try to scrape off some of the underlying paint to reveal the chrome bodywork, or rather the chrome strips on the bodywork, utilising the scalpel. It's a tricky process. You've got to be kind of pretty careful what you're doing, otherwise you're going to spoil your nice new paintwork. But I just do a short stretch at a time till I've got it right back to the aluminium casting underneath. So just a little piece at a time. Don't go too crazy at it, and I tend to put a nice new blade in every time I do it, because obviously not much good for anything by the time you've finished scraping metal against metal. Now I'm being a bit gingerly doing it here, trying to make sure that I don't damage the paint that I want to keep. Just dusting it off with a soft brush so I can see what I'm doing. And just keep progressing it till you've got a nice clean stripe down the side. You can just about see the brightness of the aluminium glinting in the light. As I say, when you see the final shot when I put it together, and when all the detail painting's done, you'll see it's a pretty effective way of getting yourself picking out the chrome lines and the body mouldings on the car. So onwards here to applying a bit of chrome paint to the bumpers. This is the Stuart Semple mirror finish, which is quite a nice and effective chrome paints that I've found. I know a lot of people use Molotow pens, but I don't really seem to have a steady enough hand to get away with them. I seem to make more lines on the body than ever intended. So I'll stick with the brush method here. I'm pleased with the finish. Whereas the Molotow, I do tend to get it all over the place. I get as much on me as I do on the car when I'm using the pens. Unfortunately, I've gone slightly off screen there with the tilting the body. So got it on the Dagmar, as they used to be nicknamed, mouldings on the front there. And just picking out the V for the Simca crest on the front of the car. Just going at it nice and gentle with the edge of the brush. Really do like this moulding. Just the underside of the bumper left to go here now. Good cover with this mirror finish paint, but it is an oil-based paint, so it always tends to be the last thing that I put on because it takes a while to dry. Later on, I'll be highlighting the brake lights and the indicators and so forth, but I have to leave it a couple of days to dry thoroughly. Otherwise, you'll leave fingerprints and what have you on it when you pick it up. It goes on well, nice cover. Just gently around the bumper and the number plate mount. Doesn't matter too much if we go over a little bit, because I should be applying the number plate sticker to the front bumper and rear anyway. Catching the edges there, just leaving myself the grill to do. I got pretty happy with that. It's just assembly time now. Giving these a bit of a polish and a dip in the pledge. Put a nice shine on them. The great little tyres on these actually says Dunlop in the moulding on the side walls, which I thought was a pretty nice little extra feature. Polished up the chrome wheels as best as I could. They didn't come up quite as nice as I would have liked, but I may revisit them at some point, try and get a better finish on them. I'm a little pressed for time at the moment, hence the lack of new videos coming out. I've got some contract work to do, which is going to take me till the end of summer, and it involves quite a bit of travelling, so I don't have as much time on my hands as I would have liked. But I promise there'll be more new videos in the winter when I'm back to my normal routine. So we're in with the super glue now. It's got a little bit more on there than I wanted. Filled it up. And pop the fake rivet in. One more to do. Just giving it a nudge down with the end of the brush there, get it right down to the bottom of the hole that I've drilled. And again to the bottom of the recess. And as they say around here, I'm going to hit it with a zip kicker, because we don't wait for glue to cure around here. And here's the finished job on the turntable. I'm quite pleased with it. The chrome lines have come out pretty well, and nothing too serious in the world of overspray on the little body joints. I picked a random 50s number plate off of the internet and printed some number plates off for it. And by and large, I'm quite pleased with this one. It's come out okay. Well, as you're watching this spin around, I'd like to take a moment to thank you for your patience in watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe the heartbeat rally thing was of some interest to you. And if it is, you might want to consider going to next year's event. As I mentioned earlier, I will leave a link in the bottom of the video to their Facebook page, and you can follow what's going on via that link. Well, that one's another one all finished. It's a Simca Chamboard from, presumably dating from the late 1950s. I wasn't able to find too much out about it on the internet, oddly enough. Thanks for your patience. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you all again soon. Thank you and goodbye.